based on this PowerPoint, you can see a basic system architecture. If you refer to other literature, the system architecture might not be similar with this one, but this is one of the possible system architecture. And I draw this one. I draw this system architecture to fit with our system, especially when we use the Django. So you already know about the fuse.py, you know already about the urls.py, and you know about the HTML file. So those three always be the mechanism or the procedure how we build the website. When we have the fuse, we will define all the function. When we have the URLs, we will define the link, and we need to define what are the HTML files. Now we are going to make this one, and you already have the project, and the project name is big project. So you already have the project. You already do some modification on the settings. You already migrate, and you already have the super user. Now I'm going to create a new app. I'm going to add one new app. We call it the user management. And then, I will do modification on the settings, and we will modify the models, admin, make migrations, migrate, and until we show it into the web. So what you will do on the mid exam is similar to this procedure. You create a project, and then you modify the settings, you do the migrate, create the super user, and then you create the app, you modify the settings, you create the model, modify the admin, make migration, migrate, and make the HTML file. So if everything goes well, then you can run in PyCharm, and you can see the result in PyCharm. So let's do step by step. I would like to create a new Python app, based on the name. It is the user management. So I will go to the terminal. It's up to you. You can use the terminal, or you can use the tools here. You can use this manage.py. Let me use the terminal. So I would like to make a new app. The app name is user mgmt. If you go here, you can see there is a new app here. Is user mgmt. And this app comes with the basic file name, which is admin, apps, models, tests, views. Now, after we have the first app, you need to go to the settings.py. In the settings.py, I need to input this application. So you have the install app here. Add one more application. So whenever you have a new app, whenever you build or whenever you start a new app, put that app into the settings.py. The name of the app is user mgmt. And then we have the apps. It will create the configuration automatically. So you can see here from the file apps here. So you can see here the file apps. You can click this one, and here is the class user mgmt config. So everything related to this configuration will go to this class. And next, after we have the settings, now we want to create our model. Now we have the model here. I just want to use the very basic table, which is about the member. So you can open the models.py and use this code. In the user mgmt, you can models.py. You can see here we have 4 columns. So column salutation, it is the character and the maximum length is 10. First name, it is also character, the maximum length is 30. Last name, the character, and then the maximum length is 40. And I would like to get the email address. So in the diagram, I can show you like this one. This is the ERD. Salutation, which is the char field 10. First name is char field 30. Last name, char field 40. And then email, it is email field. After I build the models, I want to put all the data. I want to register. Okay, I want to register the member model into the admin side. So you can, this one is to register your member. Member means in the models we have the name of our model is member, and I want to register this member into the admin website. After I do the models, after I do the admin, let's make migrations. So since there are some changes on the database, we need to migrate again. So before doing the migration, we need to run make migrations. So this one, we can copy and run here. When you run Python manage.py make migrations user mgmt, it creates a new model. And the model name is member. After you finish with the make migration, you can do migrate. So lastly, to migrate to put all contents into the Django environment. So here you can do migrate. So everything that applies to the admin FAQ user mgmt, it will be migrated to the Django environment. And the user mgmt will create a new table. Now you can link to the admin. You can go back to the admin. Okay, in my case, I directly connect to the admin, and you can see there is a new section about user mgmt, because I already make migration. I already migrate all those things into the Django, so I can see the members here. That's why I want to use only the basic information of the password. So every time, if you do your mid exam, I hope that you can use this simple password. If there is anything that I need to handle, then it will be easier for me. For example, when you do your mid exam, when you create the super user, if you create using this password, when you already submitted your mid exam solution, I can try to handle if there are some errors in your file. Okay? So yeah, please just use this password. It will be easier for me to handle it. Now, let's insert one data. Okay. If you go to the members and then if you click add, there will be salutation, first name, last name, and email. Okay. Let's make just like this one, Mr. AABB ABCD. I will add this one, Mr. And okay, I have AA and then BB and then ABC dot ABC at abc.com. So if there is no add, I guess there will be kind of error. Oh yeah, if you want to save this one, it will give you an error message. Yes, because it is an email field. They require something with add. They require with this add symbol to represent the email. So when you save, you can see there's an object here. Then I will just continue with the view URL and template. So the previous example was about the FAQ. In order to make your templates in a good structure, I think it will be good for us to reconsider the directory, or it is good to reconsider the folder name. So create a folder FAQ inside of the folder templates, and then move the list choice.html and the list quest.html into the FAQ folder. After you move the HTML files, so you can check whether the views.py will change or not. So I can go to this link. So in the templates here, you can make a new folder. Why I need to make a new folder? Yeah, I need to separate, because when you build your application, when the application is getting larger and larger, it is very confusing if you have all the files in one folder. So I want to separate. Let's suppose using this FAQ for the HTML file related to the FAQ. So after I have the folder FAQ, I move those two files. So I can click on those two files and then I move it to the folder FAQ. And it will give you a kind of information that every of the files that you created in this PyCharm, all the directory will move to the FAQ for reading the HTML files. So you can do refactor, and after you do refactor, you can see in the views.py there will be a new word FAQ slash. It means whenever I call this function, I will go to the folder FAQ and then I will run the list under quest.html. The same with this one, it will run the FAQ list choice.html. Okay, so this is how we adjust the folder. So sometimes the modification can be done automatically, but some other times you need to manually modify, like this one. Yeah, the PyCharm can do automatically, but in other case you need to do manually. Now let's start with the views. In the views in the folder user mgmt, let's write a function here. In the views.py, in the user mgmt, let's put this code. List members. So I want to see all the members. Member dot objects dot all. Okay, so we learn from the SQL. If I get all the members, I want to put it into the object members, and I want to run this list members.html and put the data into the variable members. In the URLs, you can use this link, you can use this code. In the first time, you don't have the URLs, so you need to create your Python file. Okay, create your Python file. You can create the URLs and you can paste the code. So if it is connected to this URLs, you will run the list members. The list members, the name is list members. It means you will run this statement. You can go to the urls.py in the parent folder and put additional statement. So if I want to check the members, you can go to this. So you can go to the URLs in the parent folder. Okay, the URLs in the parent folder. Here you will add one more link. Okay. And after you have this link, now we need to make HTML file. So I will make this HTML files. And as I mentioned before, okay, we are going to make a folder user mgmt, and it is to put all the HTML file for the user management. Okay. So I will copy this code And then I go to folder templates. Okay, in the folder templates, you can create a new directory. Okay, you can create a new directory, and this directory will be the user mgmt. And once you have this user mgmt, what is the name? List_members.html. So I can make a new HTML file. Okay, I will create an HTML file, and the file name is list_members. You can remove all the codes in this HTML file and replace it with the code that I already shared on your PowerPoint. So I'm using one bootstrap to modify the design. Okay. After you finish this, let's try to figure out the result. I will go to this. Okay. Now you got the result. This is the member list. And now it shows in the table. So this table it is from the table in the HTML file. Okay, let me show this one. Okay. In the center, we have member list. And we use the container from the bootstrap. First, we are making the table, and I'm just using one class in the bootstrap. It is the table stripe. So just the basic of the bootstrap table. And then the first row will be the header. We have ID, salutation, first name, last name, and email. And the next row, for the next row, it will be a for loop. So I would like to put for every members. I would like to put for every members in the data. I would like to call the member.id. This will be in the first column. Next will be the salutation in the next column. Next will be the first name will be in the next column. Last name, it will be in the next column. And email, it will be in the next column. And then we need to use end for. So this is the end of the for loop. Okay, the remaining is only the closing. So you can see like this result. ID 1, salutation Mr., first name AA, last name PB, and the email is abc@abc.com. Okay. If you check on your code in the views.py, we use render instead of the get template as an alternative. So here we use render. Yeah, some of them I teach you two things. The first, you can use the get template, and the other you can use render. So when you use render, you need to show the request, and then where is the HTML file and what kind of data that you want to deliver to the web. And there are two kind of things here. Okay? First, we can design about the forms, and can be also a design. The form or the member form is a class that is automatically built the form according to the built-in model. So to connect to the model, it is required to build the class meta. So here, oh, sorry, I don't have the form. Later on, I will explain the form, I think in the later part. Okay. And for the design, I'm just using one bootstrap code. This is the bootstrap.min.css. Okay. So this is the CDN, the Content Delivery Network. So CDN is a geographically distributed network of proxy servers and their data centers. So in this example, we just utilize the CDN of Bootstrap. Yeah, you already know the Bootstrap. Yeah, please try to review it again. Okay. And I'm just using the Bootstrap with one of the class. Okay. And this class is the table stripe. You can see other kind of table. Yeah, you can see what kind of table that you can create. Yeah, you can find what kind of table, like there are some examples here. So if you want to design a block or you want to define with some kind of navigation, yeah, you can take a look on this design. So they provide you the let's say if I want to make like this one, then yeah, you can have like this code. And yeah, this is only the example. If you want to create this one, you can have your HTML file like this one. If you do with the right click, you can see the page source bogey. It means you can see how to make the code. So this is the code in the HTML. And if you use the Google Chrome or if you use the Internet Explorer, you can also see this one. And based on this one, you can take a look in the body section, yeah, what you need to define to make that kind of design. And what is the source that you need to refer to make that kind of design. Okay, I will not discuss details of this one. You can refer to the link that I gave it to you. For now, I'm just using very basic design. I will not give more fancy design. If you have interest on making a fancy design, you can explore by yourself. CRUD. Okay, what does it mean by CRUD? So we are making the CRUD. So create, read, update, and delete. Let's do the first one, which is create. So in the create, we need to make a kind of form. In the folder user mgmt, let's create a new file forms.py. And then let's put this code into the forms.py. So in the user mgmt, let's make a new file, Python file. Let's make a new Python file, form.py. You will have the forms.py and you can just paste the code that I share on the PB. In this case, I would like to make a form, and the forms is based on the model. The model here, I would like to call the member. What is the member here? This is the, if you click here with pressing the control, okay, if you press the button control, and then if you move your mouse, then you can go to the member class. So this is the model that you created. So I would like to make a form, and the form will have all the fields from the member model. And then after I have the forms.py, again, I need to repeat using the views, URLs, and HTML. So in the views.py, let's do this create member. So in the views.py, in the below part of the function list members, you can define, I would like to import from the member form, and I want to create member. So this is the member form. If I want to make a new member, I would like to show this member form, and everything that I input into this form, it will be posted, or yeah, there will be a method post to send into the database. If the form is valid, let's save it. So if you still remember, save. It is a part of the SQL. In the SQL, we have the .save. It is to save all the instances that we want to save into the data, into the database. And after I save this one, redirect list member. It means I need to go to the URL list members. Where is the list members here? The list member is this one. So it goes to the all possible, all the data from the members. So after I create the views, let's make the URLs. So please pay attention to the name. Okay, I make a new link for new. When I create a new member, I will use this link. So you can go to the user mgmt and then go to the urls.py and then make a new link. This is a link to create a new member, and I will make a new URL, new slash, and when I go to this link, it will run the create member. Now, you already have list member.html. Since you already have the list member.html, you can just add this line. You can just add this line. So it is the line before the bootstrap, okay, and it is after the table. So just copy and paste this line. So I will copy and paste this one in the list member.html after the table and before the bootstrap CDN. Here I want to use a class. The class is button. This is from the bootstrap. And if I click this button, I would like to go to the URL at member. Okay, what is the URL at member? It is in the URLs, and this is the at member. And let's create a new file, HTML file, and the name will be member underbar form. And I will use this HTML code. So I will make, what is the name? Member underline form. So in the user mgmt, in the user mgmt folder, let's create a new HTML file. We will create member underbar form. You can remove all the codes and replace with the code that I give in the PowerPoint. I will explain this one after we run the code. Okay, so let's try to run. You can refresh. Now you will see there is a button. Okay, there is a button, new member. When you click the new member, you will go to a new form. This is what we call as the form. And you will see that there are some information about the salutation, first name, last name, and email. Okay, maybe I'll follow this one. Mr. BBCC, okay, and the name, the email is the same. Okay, let me just call Mr. BBCC, maybe acc@acc.com, okay, for example. And let me save. When I save them, it shows directly the data that I just added, the data that I just created into this member list. Okay. So what is the explanation? The first is about the form. In the form, we have member form. It is from the forms.py. It is a line to create an object when a submit is requested. So when you click submit or when you click save, it will go to the member form and then check about those information. If all the information is valid, it will be added to the database. But if it is not valid, then it will be removed. IsValid is a function that returns Boolean true or false to confirm that a form is valid or not. A form is not valid if the contents do not satisfy the input criteria. For example, email. If the email does not contain @ it will be invalid. You can try. So if I create new member, let's say Miss CC, DD, and ABC. Okay, ABC, 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 AC, for example, like this. If I save, then there will be a error message. So all the information, it is invalid. So if you save this one, email to show something, 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 okay, there should be an @ If you cancel this one, okay, it return back and we do not add the new information. Form.save. It is a function to execute the form and submit the data in the form into particular functions. And redirect is a function to execute the HTML file according to the name. If I go to the list member, oh, sorry, this one is B. Okay, redirect. So if I finish with saving the files, I will redirect to the list member. It means I will go back to the member list. Now you have the URL at member. You already know. If I want to connect to one URL, I do not need to call the link, but I just need to call the name. In this case, this is the name. In the urls.py, I have the name @member. So when I call this @member name, then it will be connected to this create member. This site generates a unique token when it makes the form page. So this token is required to post or get data back to the server. So we have the Csrf token. Okay, what does it mean? If you go to the member form, we have a new or update member, and here we have Csrf token. So this Csrf token, it stands for cross-site request forgery. So in Python, they have a function to see whether your web is really valid or not. And whenever you want to modify or you want to create or you want to delete, it should be connected with this Csrf token. Since the token is generated by your site and provided only when the page is with the form is generated, some other sites cannot mimic your forms. So they won't have the token and therefore they cannot post to your site. So the token is very unique. So if you want to see your token, you can go to the settings. This is the key of your current Django. And my computer has the secret key. Your computer will have different key. So it means whenever you do like creation, deletion, or modification, it is secure because each of the Django project will have its own key. That's the meaning by the CSRF, the cross-site request forgery. If it is not the same with this ID, then they will not allow to modify, they will not allow to save, they will not allow to delete. And there's a simple JavaScript. It will return to the previous page without any submission. So when I click cancel, it returns back to the Windows, the previous Windows. It means if I do on click, it is a JavaScript statement. So I cannot explain all the things now, but just to show you that there is a JavaScript statement to return back to the history of your window. So you can see in the member form here. If you submit this, then it will go to the views.py. Yeah, it will go to this section. So it will check whether your form is valid or not, and it will save. If it is not valid, then it will not save. If you do not want to save it, if you cancel it, then it will go back to what is your previous window. We can just call window.history.back. So it means back to the previous window. So whenever you do with the member list and then you click the new member, of course, the member list will be the previous window. Okay. Yeah, the remaining is only about the bootstrap. Okay. I will explain more about the updates and delete next week. Okay. And okay, I hope that I can finish this step until next week. So you can have idea what you will do on your mid exam. So meanwhile, please do your assignment to get insight how you can develop your web.